first thing did you hear it?
Yeah. Okay. So he's not the only one.
No, it's a guy thing. It's a guy thing.
Okay.
Have you changed your locks or what?
No,
Donna must have borrowed my purse. Calvin else forgot that.
I don't know. You guys gotta quit whatever you're doing. It's putting you down his back.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know what door I changed.
I changed the front door.
Did you? Well, that baby.
I just had my hidden door.
What it may be decided.
It might be.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. A while back. Yeah, but never was.
Yes, not here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At 7 o'clock, I'll call the Mulberry City Council to order at this time. So if everyone would stand, we'll have opening prayer. Father in heaven, we do thank you for our city and for our citizens. Lord, we just pray that your blessings will be upon Mulberry. And I thank you, Lord, for our council. I pray that you'd give each person a positive direction, provide wisdom for every decision that needs to be made. And I pray, Father, that everything that we do for the citizens of Mulberry would benefit the majority and all. And Lord, we just pray that everything we do, we bring glory to Christ. For his name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. This time we'll have roll call.
Wilma Peavy,
Yes.
Bobby Sweeney,
Here.
Sheila Trim, here, Stacy Munt, here, Kimberly Bruce, Judy Moore,
Here.
Carla Sutherland, here, Mayor Baxter.
Here. And we do have a quorum. And so minutes and the all financials sent to you. We have just looked them over. Is there any changes, additions, any comments or anything that needs to be adjusted on the minutes or the financials?
Motion to approve consent.
Motion has been made and motion is seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? No?
Wilma, Bobby,
Yes.
Sheila,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Stacy.
We'll go next into departmental reports. Police Chief Gregory's here to give his report. Chief, would you come forward, please?
Good evening. Had another busy month in May. We had 57 traffic stops, 25 citations were issued, 1 parking violation. Had 30 arrests, 13 felonies, 17 misdemeanor, 184 calls, 2 accidents, 466 building checks or business checks, and 31 cleanup orders. So we stayed like super busy. The guys doing an amazing job. We kind of got hammered. Y'all probably heard on some burglaries and thefts, but they recovered about 98% of the property. Got it back to the people, made good arrests, run a bunch of search warrants. They're doing an amazing job. So,
Those local people that we got,
do I?
were they the local people that we
There was a group out of Mulberry, a group out of Franklin County, and just up north in Crawford County.
What about our catalytic converters? Have we slowed down on thinking
We-
about it?
We've only had, what to say, 2, maybe 3 here in the city, but they're still on the outskirts, like, most of them, like church. Ours have all been church.
Yeah.
Because they sit there unattended and they're in and out in 2 minutes and, and most of the churches park van behind the church or in an unopportune place, but, but like the bigger cities are still getting hammered. One thing that I've been telling people is, you can drop it, it takes them 2 minutes to go in there and cut it off, but if you can get in there with an etcher and etch the VIN number in to the catalytic converter, that will help us track it through leads online and other.
Are they staying local with these or are they hauling them somewhere else?
It's hard to track them because they don't have numbers on them. They say you have to come off of a 40-ton line van, but
Yeah.
there's millions of that same thing, or no numbers on them, so it's really hard to nail down. So you're on that. It's like the game.
Is he been arrested?
No, we're waiting on the warrant. No, the warrant has been signed, we did all the paperwork for the warrant, we're just waiting on the prosecutor to do everything, get the judge and back. And everything, so it's a hurry up and wait game on a lot of stuff like that. Yes, it is. But anyway, anybody else got any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next, the fire department report, we have Captain Sumter.
Evening, everybody. Evening. For the 39 total calls, for the report system prints 4 of those as structure fires, but actually it's one structure fire, which was the 12 apartments and 3 call-outs, additional call-outs for rekindles. So that is there. 28 of them were medical or accidents, and a couple of just what they call good intent calls, canceled while they're out and stuff like that. That's all I had on that. The fireworks show's good and ready to go. We have some music there. Don't know any specific vendors that's going to be there. I haven't heard of personally, but we're going to have bounce around for the kids. One bounce around and 2 water slides. One water slide for the younger ones and a little bit bigger water slide for the older kids.
You know, if you're working here, schedule with the ones downtown, since they have activities going on the same day.
We're going to try to open everything up for everybody to come in about 4 o'clock. And then the kids can, play around and we won't have some music. I think they're going to maybe come around 6-ish or so, right in there somewhere. And the fireworks at when it gets good and dark.
Do you still have some tickets for the 4th of July?
We do still have some tickets. I don't have any.
You don't have any?
I don't have no.
I haven't found any of them.
Shannon, do you have?
I've got some on my desk. I
Okay.
haven't brought up.
There's several of us that still do have some.
I need to.
You need 2 of them? Okay, I'll try to get you 2 of them. The next day or 2, I'll get them.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank y'all.
Yes, apologize, don't have a public works, Jim Jude's on vacation this week. So, we'll go right into no old business, right into new business. First, or new business, to look at a resolution seeking a grant from Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage and Tourism for the benefit of improving recreational facilities in the Mulberry City Park. And let me ask Monica if she would come up right now and get us started on that. Monica, if you could, let's read this resolution, and then if you have a motion second, we'll have discussion on it.
Okay. And I don't have a resolution number assigned to this. I'm sorry, since my computer crashed, I have to go back and look up the last numbers, and I failed to do that before bringing it in. So this will be appropriately the next available resolution number in 2021. A resolution seeking a grant from Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage and Tourism for the benefit of improving recreational facilities in Mulberry, Arkansas. Whereas Mulberry, Arkansas seeks to improve the recreation facilities and wishes to seek grant funding assistance. And whereas in order to obtain the funds necessary to develop and/or improve the site for such a recreation area, it is necessary to obtain an outdoor recreation matching grant from the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage and Tourism. And whereas the plans for such recreation areas have been prepared and the price therefore has been established. And whereas the governing body understands the grantee and grantor will enter into a binding agreement which obligates both parties to policies and procedures contained within the outdoor recreation matching grant application guide, including but not limited to the following. The park area defined by the project boundary map submitted with the application must remain in outdoor recreation use in perpetuity, regardless if the property is bought or developed with matching grant funds, and all future overhead utility lines within the project boundary must be placed underground, and the project area must remain open and available for use by the public at all reasonable times of the day and year. Facilities can be reserved for special events, league play, etc., but cannot be reserved, leased, or assigned for exclusive use. And the project area must be kept clean, maintained, and operated in a safe and healthful manner. Mulberry City Council is well aware and apprised of the above mentioned project and will provide the local portion of the development costs of the entire project. Now therefore it be resolved by the City Council of Mulberry, Arkansas, that the mayor is hereby authorized to make application to the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage and Tourism for assistance to develop recreational facilities for the city of Mulberry.
Motion to approve.
The motion been made, approved.
Second.
Second, okay, now let's go into discussion on this. Right now, I'd like to call to the podium James Greer from Landmark Engineering. And Landmark Engineering has brought a proposal to us. I don't have copies for everyone to go over this proposal. And as he goes through it, Council, don't you know, he's given us I just got it, it's come in the door tonight, a description of budget for all this. And it's a best scenario budget. It can be pared down. You know what I'm saying? It can be pared down to the essentials, and he'll go over that with you, with the council. So, Mr. Greer, would you address the council on this project? It's a proposal and what Landmark Engineering would do for the city and how this can be broken out, and how that any funding of this is a 50-50 match funding with the Parks and Tourism. So I'd like to turn it over to you for addressing the council.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for inviting us over. Myself and my wife is with me. She works with me in doing the parks. We are under Landmark Engineering, and we do work all over the state. We have done parks. We do them all over the area. We're doing one right now, Ratcliffe, just on the other side of the river. You guys in Duplain, someone in Duplain, of course, in Danville, we did a pickleball court. That's how I got the call to contact Mayor Baxter, for, he is friends with, Mayor Mowdy over at Danville, and he plays pickleball, and so they contacted us, you guys might be interested. What you're looking at doing is working with, West Arkansas Planning and Development District, Tracy McKenna. She would have been here tonight, but she had a conflict. She actually would do all the grant work for you. She would write the grant and do all that stuff. We would assist her. So the drawing that you see, we did that sketch. We came over a week ago. We looked at the site, kind of visited with the mayor, Monica. We got some ideas of what you wanted, and we put that together. Okay. As the mayor said, that's kind of a Cadillac. It's kind of this process is kind of like buying a car. Okay. We can put many accessories in there as you want to, and that price, that price goes up. And we can take those back out to get you where you need to go. As you're looking at it on the ground right there, is what you see, that's about $150,000. So this is a 50-50 grant. The state, Arkansas State Parks, the tourism and the heritage, I'll see how they word it now, would give you 50% of whatever that is. The other 50% would have to come from the city. So with that said, that may be more than what you want to spend, but that is a Cadillac. So what we would need for the guidance is, how much do you want to be out of pocket from the city side of it? You tell us that, we can pare that project down to make it work where the state matches that, and we get you that budget. And we do it. We not only we'll help Tracy get the grant, work through all of that. Once the grant is awarded, then we would do construction plans, put it out for bid, do all of your bidding, and then we do the construction inspection. We can come over, make sure it's built and all of that is done properly all the way through. That includes all your ADA compliance and all those kind of things. The way we do this is, I can't guarantee you're going to get that grant. I can't do it. Tracy can't do it. We're going to do the best job we can to get it for you. So what we do as our company is, I'm going to work for you to try to get that grant, and you don't owe us anything. So if we fail this year, we don't get it, you'll never get a bill from me, okay? Hopefully we'll try again next year if we have to. I've had some that we've had to do it 3 or 4 years before we got it, but that's how we do it. If you get awarded it, then you're still under no obligation to me, but I would hope that you can sign a contract to hire me to do the work. Our fee, the company's fee, is set by the state. It's based on a percentage of what your project costs. If it's a real small project, it's about a 12% fee. If it gets larger, it goes to 10, and it gets larger, so it's a sliding scale. All that will be negotiated with the city before we did any actual work, and you still wouldn't owe us a dime, okay? That resolution sounds real meaty, like you're jumping in the boat and you're signing your life away, it says you commit. If we get the grant, you don't have to accept it. If something changes and your financials and the city has problems in a year from now, because this wouldn't be awarded until January, it's about December, January. If you can't do it, you can turn it down. You're not obligated, okay? So even though that sounds real threatening and really kind of paper tiger there, you're still not committed. All this really does is give the mayor of the city permission to pursue this grant, to try to go get it for you. And then once we did, we'd come back and we'd, of course, work with you to get it designed like you want to. Again, all I need is a budget to kind of tell me what you want to spend, and that was what will make the project work, is what we do. I have brought a couple of things, and I'll leave them with Miss Monica. These are books. These kind of show us our statement of qualifications. I did bring a couple copies, but you guys can share them and pass them around. This shows everything that I've done. We've done as our company, all of our parks. We also do street drainage, water, sewer. We're a full service consulting firm, and so this is we did the part. Have you been to the Danville?
No, or there sent me photos.
Okay.
Not physically.
It turned out wonderful. That's one of the proudest projects that I've got. It turned out great. We hired a company out of Louisiana that came in and did the court surface, and they tell me that I don't play, but they tell me it's one of the best ones they played on around. So it turned out really well, and we'd like to help you bring that same thing and do it for your community.
Would you go over a breakout of that cost for each item that makes that up for council?
You got that? I didn't bring but one copy.
We don't
So I'm sorry.
have a copy right there.
No,
one
I don't
copy?
think Grant said
I did make a copy.
We have a
I
copy.
didn't make a copy.
Let's make a copy. of this council.
I apologize for only bringing one.
Dan will go with the top of the day. Scale it down.
What Amble did was, they had an old tennis court, and where we wanted to just resurface it, and we were gonna use it, and that would save them a lot of money. When we got out there, and they had to purchase, they got to look at it, there was a high pressure gas line that right there to the corner of the concrete. So guess what? We're not gonna put a pickleball court on top of that high pressure gas line. We ended up tearing out the old court and building it from scratch. The only thing they cut out was the lights. When it got to the point, the lights are very expensive, and, you know, it depends. They did 4 courts, you were looking at 2. So their lighting is a lot more than what's good for their project. They cut out the windscreen and the lights. The windscreen cuts down on the wind blowing the ball a little bit. I talked to Bill and Mary Ann, they play all the time, and they said it hadn't really bothered. And so they haven't, that was something they could have went back and added. Their spot where they put it didn't have restrooms, and they went back and added restrooms. So basically, they kind of ended up in the middle. You know, they wheel massaged it around and made it work out. Now, they built their, like I said, they built their own restrooms, which is pretty pricey as well. And they also, we had to build a parking lot, because yours is in an existing spot. So this was a grassy area, so we had to bring in, they asphalted it. So their total project was around $190,000 when we got done. But that included, like I said, a lot of things that you don't have to do.
Now, also, the city could do some in-kind work like preparation, site prep.
Absolutely.
Like take our grader and grade off the, level it out, make sure the base is there. So there's in-kind work the city could do. That was,
Oh, absolutely.
into that, right?
Absolutely, yes. Anything that you could do, the city could do, and we can take off this and cut it back. And when you look at this, and I know you all don't have a copy, the most expensive part of it is the court finish. And the court finish I put on here was $50,000 just for the court finish alone. That is the Cadillac court finish, okay? Danville went down one night and did the secondary court finish, and they were totally happy with it. They didn't do the full one. So, but I always want to make sure we give you, and you ask for enough, and that's something we can always cut back. That court finish, was 9 layers of stuff that they put down. And I went by there, I thought we're doing another park with a project in their park. You can't tell, it looks like we just did it yesterday, it was 3 years ago. And it is held up wonderfully, it looks great. It's a really good product. It's not all that cheap as well. As you see on there, it's $10,000 in lighting. That's something right there. You don't have to. Danville's is not lit. That's something you could come back later and do if you wanted to cut back the lighting. The shaded tables, we gave some little demonstration of some things. Y'all have a really nice ones out there. Those things, like you say, they're $6,500 a piece. You can find cheaper ones, or you can take those out. So I guess I'm saying there's a lot of fluff in this that you could absolutely scale back to where you get you where you want to make your project and make it grow. Color selection, they have it's a myriad, any color that you want, they just about to do it. So we were looking at the colors that you've got on your playground equipment, it'd be no problem, you did that court to match it. The nets and everything was included, all the nets, and of course the fencing to go all the way around it. We also did concrete to go over to attach to the basketball court, and then we added some concrete that you wanted to go down and touch the merry-go-round and some other on the other side to help improve the project. Any other questions?
I noticed, if we decided not to do the lighting, would we still need electrical over there?
No, so that would come out as well, you're absolutely right. So there's another $3,000 for the lighting, absolutely. Yeah. Unless for some reason you want, I don't know what else you would want electrical for. We were looking and we haven't found it. We have done solar lights in other parks on trails where you didn't have as much, and we're looking at those, and we asked for some prices, I just don't have them back yet. Generally, the solar's been a little cheaper, and then you don't have electric bill. So that's an option that we will absolutely explore with you see if we could get the solar in.
As a general rule, what's the date, like, you get the contract, start to finish season?
Like I said, this thing goes through, the process is we turn in, this has to be turned in by August. We'll turn it in. They will actually, a committee reviews all of these, the ones that they deem worthy. They will actually come and make a tour. They won't let you know when they're coming. They'll come see your park and they'll come look at it. In October, there is a meeting in Jacksonville, and that's where everybody comes. And if you're shortlisted, which means they deem your project worthy of possibly funding, you'll have to come and make a 5-minute presentation. That's in October. And then it's late November, early December, somewhere in there is when they award it. They'll be sending you a letter, congratulations, you got funding. When that happens, they have a kickoff meeting in January that we would attend, and that means everything gets started. We would start the plans and specs. We very well could have this built by summer. Because it goes for complicated. It was a reimbursement type thing. So then we had to request the money from the state, and the state sent you the check. So there was this, they'll send you a check. If you put it in your own account, a special account for it, and that's where it says. So when bills come in, you can pay the bill. You're not waiting on the state to do it. Like that paperwork trail was a nightmare. I'm glad they got rid of that part of it.
Now, you said on that court finish, what it would cost me for the step down to be the same as what Danville has?
The Danville's, I think they spent 30, so I think we dropped it almost, it wasn't quite in half, so I think we spent about 30,000 on theirs. But theirs was double, so we probably could get yours down to around 25. To have a
That's
really
what you got.
premium. Yeah.
That's what you have on here, 25?
I have 50 on here now.
Court foundation?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, 25 for the service, the foundation is 50, I'm sorry, we could probably get that down to about 12.
About 12.
About 12 to 15, yeah.
12 to 15.
12 to 15. I also have, when you get to that point, and I can be a brain looker, I have samples of what this court feels like, and they have them, I took a problem with because I forgot that the company sends, and so you can feel the texture of it, and the crew that came and did the one at Danville had just left. They did a basketball court at Shaquille O'Neal's house. That was what they did. They do all kind of court finishes and the skate parks. So they do it all over the country. They did an exceptional job, and that's who I would contract with to do y'all.
Okay, if the council approves this, say if they approve this tonight, then without the budget, then so like in another month or something, whatever it is, we come back and say, okay, it's been approved to do the application.
Yes.
But this is how much we're going to spend on it.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
We don't have to make the decision tonight on
You do not.
the amount of money that the council wants to.
You do not. All we would need is the understanding that this would kind of be your Cadillac, but we're going to scale it back. I understand that, and that's why I did. I want you to know this is the job. If you don't want to do it, we can absolutely back up. But yeah, if you did that ordinance, that's kind of the kickoff. The main thing we want to know tonight is, do you want to do it? I think it's 2 days from now is when Mr. Benecki's coming on the 24th.
Thursday.
Thursday. Yes, and Mayor, the application is actually due 1st of August. So we still have another council meeting to discuss the final budget. If we get things pared down and we come to where you think that those funds can come from, we still have the next council meeting to make that final budget appropriation.
Well, you mentioned about John Benecke, the director of the Arkansas Parks and Tourism, will be here on Thursday with Tracy McKenna from Western Arkansas Planning Development to look at our park, to look at this. And as Mr. Gitter explained, if we get on the short list, it'll be because of John Benecke.
Yeah.
And he's been here before, and I've been down there, I think, 3 times and did a presentation for the city on there and talked about we have to go to Jacksonville.
Yes.
And present to a committee, and we're in competition with other cities because they only have so much funds. And So we try to do our best presentation to get selected by the committee. So it's a process that we all say, yes, you got a worthy project, you're on the short list, and we just go present it, and then they work through it. So it's not a process just to get selected for the matching grant. But that's, this gives us time that council can look at different options on that. And anyone that would want to go to Danville and look at their courts down there and talk to them down there about that. Have you been down to Danville? No. They've got groups of people like there's a lot of others. And in that way, on our July meeting, then we can come up with a proposed budget.
Yes, sir.
And the funding would be coming from our capital improvements. Is that right, Marty?
Yes, and there's, right now, 49,000 in parking garage.
49,000 part of that, again, the capital improvement in addition.
Right,
Yes.
right. If you wanted to use any of that money.
Maybe you could use a combination of those.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've got.
The city has the money if you want to do it, but depends on how much you want to obligate to it. You know what I'm saying? To what you want in that. And if you got your race cards with you,
I did. I'll give you a stack of them.
maybe council, if someone has a question, they can call you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This
Anytime.
information, you call and talk about it and look at different options on that report.
And we work with Tracy on that kind of, we work hand in hand, she and I do. We've got other projects that we work together on, and we kind of, she'll have some input from the meeting on Thursday, and she'll let me know what those are, and we'll make that, this is a work in progress. And so we'll mark as I hear input from you guys. I want, we want to move this, I want to turn it, we want to twist it, whatever you want, and we'll make those adjustments. Even when we do the grant application, we'll have a drawing like that in the grant application that is not written in stone. Okay, it is just an exhibit to get you funded. We want to make it look as good as possible so that you look favorable. I will tell you, you have a wonderful park. I'm so impressed. I love the gazebo, that rebar. That's awesome. You guys have a great park, and this would be a good addition to your park if you're city. I'm hoping the state finds favor in it. They did in Anvil. One shot. We went through one time. And we got funded the first round. It's the first one that you're funded. I think some others have maybe gotten funded since, but we were the first one to get funded.
Are they looking at parks that are into this, about our situation we're in here, or do they go from one end to the other as far as?
The majority of the applications, there's two programs that they have. There's this one, this is a matching grant. So you match the funds. The other program is called a fun park program. And what it is $75,000, no matching. They just give it to you, okay? It's kind of a starter deal for a town that doesn't have any park. You know what I'm saying? They don't have anything at all. That money is highly fought over, highly fought over. Their cities, we worked with the city of Magazine, and I think they're on their seventh try, and they haven't got it yet. And I don't know why. Tracy, it breaks her heart every time, she does it. Because she puts a lot of work into it. We both do. I've helped the Magazine several times. It took us 3 times to get new money, but we got it. And of course, they haven't built it yet because of COVID hit. Mr. Benek did tell us, I met with him, we're doing a fun park grant for Mount Ida. We were in his deal over there with him, and he did tell me that the funds look a lot better this year. They had more money. So however that gets divided out and all that, he says they do have more funds this year for this program. And he'll probably lighten us more on that when we talk on Thursday.
What type of parks do you usually make? What kind of additions do you usually make? Tell me variety.
Walking trails, like I said, the playground equipment, in addition to the playground equipment. A lot of people got trails done, like you have an asphalt trail. I think yours is fairly narrow. A lot of them go back and they widen them on out to the 10-foot width. We'll go in, they'll be running by trees, take out the roots, those kind of things. I did in Star City, Arkansas, we did a pocket park. And it was literally between two buildings on the inside of the middle of town. I don't know if we got any pictures of it inside this one, but I was real proud of it. They went in and made a little seating area and all that, and they put a touch and feel where you had the different textures for the children and all that. And it was literally between two buildings that they went in and put flowers and plants, and so we've done everything. The only thing I haven't done is been a water park, like a splash pad and all that.
Do you have the ability to do that?
Absolutely, we do.
They're
We just haven't had the opportunity. I will tell you, they are expensive. They are expensive, very, very expensive. The one that I like the most is if you go through Perry, Arkansas, and through Perryville. They have one right by the road. It's a great one. It turned out really good, but they spent a ton of money. They are very expensive. But absolutely, we have the ability to do that, and this program would be something like that you could come to. Also, on this, we have to cut some things out, and so maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, you say, we want to get the lights. We can go back through this program and get the lights done. So if we don't do it, get it all in the first round, and you get the court built, we can always come back later and do help you get some additions to some things. Any other questions or anything? If not, I'll leave some cards to y'all, and like you said, anytime, if you've got a question, feel free to call me. The office number comes from my cell phone, just like my cell does, so if somebody, if I don't answer, I will call you back. I promise you. And again, I appreciate it very much for the opportunity to work with you. Thank y'all.
So have you put in some courts, pickleball courts with lighting?
No, we didn't. We didn't put in the lighting because Dan couldn't afford it.
So Daniel's the only one that you've done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's the only one I've done.
I was just wondering how the lighting would work, how it would.
The ones that I know of is that if you go through at Hot Springs Village, they have, I want to say 12 or 18, they have a bunch of courts, and they're lit. But it's right there, they have all the money that they want to spend, and then some, so, but it's well lit. It's well lit.
But I'm just wondering how to operate them, would it be something that you're using them, you just turn it on?
And we did, okay, I see where you're going. We did the basketball court at Angle. We have their basketball court, and they put new lights in. The way they do that on the switch, because you don't want the kids to just turn it on, because they ain't gonna turn it off when they do.
That's what I was saying.
They have the switch, and it has a counter inside. So you set that for how long you want it to run, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. And at the end of that, it turns the lights off. We would suggest you do the same thing. So now the worst thing is you forgot about the 2 hours, and all of a sudden, it's gonna go dark, and you run over there and turn, flip the switch again, and you got 2 more hours. That guarantees that it won't be running all night.
That answers my question.
Yeah, and also, all the new fixtures will be LED, so it's low usage and all that. And the solar, they'll never be even, we're no electric bill at all.
So do they have solars that's bright enough for something like that?
Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir. We actually, when we get to that point to talk about it, I can bring you some samples of things that will show you some pictures of lumens of the areas that they light up. But yeah, it's amazing what they can do with the solar lights. And the panels are not these huge, big gaudy things. They're on top of the light. So there is nothing sticking up there. It's actually on top of the light. We did the ones in Wilmot, Arkansas. We did a trail, and we put lights around it. And you can't tell, you wouldn't know they were solar lights because the panels were embedded in the top. They were kind of an antique looking, old style light, and you can't tell it. When you go to Danville, they had right by City Hall, they did a bridge. They moved a bridge and it was going to be lost in the old Cozy River. And we did a trail around it. They went through that bridge. And then 3 years ago, we put lights in around it. And they're solar. Now, the ones that Mayor Bill picked, they have a big old solar panel thing on top of them. But there's all kinds, but they really are good. The ones in Wilmot have been in almost 5 years. They haven't replaced the one yet. The batteries, they have like a 20-year warranty. They're great. I've been really impressed with the solar build. Anything else?
You don't have anything else?
Again, thank y'all very much.
Thank you, very good presentation.
Yes.
We do have a motion to say we have discussion on this. If it's something you want to go ahead and go forward and come back on July.
I'm kind of curious as to just happening.
Pickleball, it's just been batted around for ever since we put one in the fair building. People have been saying we get one outside.
How many people play at the pickleball in the fair?
Monica can wait at
We
Jim
made
Moore.
as many as 13. Yeah, that's
Is it like on a daily basis?
No, we played high school.
How many play twice a week?
I mean, well, you know, it depends anywhere.
I think when we started, we had up to 20 people when we first
Yeah, we
started.
had about 20 that we didn't, that would come different times. Most we've had at one time for 13. We've had at least 20.
And you know, that nice thing about it, it's not just for kids, it's for
It's not for people. It's play people. Do that?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Play pickleball?
absolutely.
Yeah, they recommend it as a family sport, but, you know, you don't want to mix particularly kids and adults. Put kids against kids and play. We've had some.
I feel like it'd be more appealing outside too, as far as people will be watching more and I think more participation that way.
I think outside court, that more people would come and try it.
Right.
And be a lot more people that would like it, rather than coming to
Good inside.
an established group
What's the
already
difference
playing
between pickleball and
a whole bunch.
I don't really know what
Pickleball is played with, what's it called?
that is.
Wiffle ball.
Yeah, with a pickleball, the little ball has got the whole thing all right. And you use a racket, which is like 16, 18 inches long versus the tennis racket. It's just a little, it's a hard face racket.
Like a paddle.
Like a badminton, but
They
with a
they say
pickleball?
it's a combination of badminton, ping pong, and tennis.
Is it all bounce?
Oh, no, it bounces.
Well, I know, but it will bounce. Are you supposed to keep it in the air or when?
But it bounces, it's more like tennis.
So it bounces, you hit it, you bounce and hit it. You've never played. I know, and that's why I'm asking questions.
Come down some Monday or Thursday.
See, so you might
Dave.
enjoy a pickleball court.
We play at 6 o'clock. in the evening.
It's slow. and it's
I love
rolling.
tennis, I play tennis in high school. and all
Oh,
that.
well, you love that. Well,
Pretty old.
Pretty old.
a lesson.
It's like that. The court's half. The court's 24. You do either one, but all works.
All right, we have a motion and a second, you want to continue on with this, now, discussion. Go ahead.
Okay. Wilma. Bobby.
Yes.
Sheila.
Yes.
Jimmy.
Okay. I know it doesn't matter, but I like the whole dog. And just, I don't know anything about it, so I feel like I'm saying yes. I really want to find out.
Is this not to authorize the mayor to pursue it?
Right.
It's just personal thing.
Well, it's,
Is they give them authority to pursue it?
We're just going to start pursuing, not obligated any funds to it,
okay,
no funds have been obligated.
all right. All right, I'll like that whole weird. Okay.
Sure, however you want to do it. I mean,
I totally want to get a matching grant. I think we could get more stuff. I think that would be great. I just want to make it for the city. I don't want to make it for a specific group that plays one certain thing. I think there's a lot of other things we could possibly do. I mean, I'm in favor for bringing more kids to the area and things like that. I just don't know if that's something that would draw the families, you know, like a splash park, splash pad, which I've heard hundreds of people asking for. So, yeah, that's just where I'm coming from.
Well, it's like splash pads, normally, that's for the younger children.
Right, and families.
Right.
Well, you
Now,
can.
Pickleball, according to, pickleball is just, it's all ages. So you're not limited to senior adults or young kids, it's all ages, is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, I know I get a lot of joy out of watching my grandchildren play on splash pad. We watch them for hours on
Okay.
Saturday, you know, so,
Is that
I mean,
about, what's splash pad, what's that, about $250,000 to $300,000?
If, for a very small one, I mean, a typical, like the one at Perryville with a really nice flat pad, they spent $450,000 on that one. They are expensive.
They had, we went to Silver City and they had just like fountains on a cement. And the kids got in the fountain and that they had water shooting up and you stuck your bowl in it a certain way, it's spray and they were spraying kids in the area. I mean, things like that. For, you know, for kids, most of the park is for kids already, you know, so that's where the draw comes from. But I get it. I mean, I think we do need some more attractions in the park. I think that'd be great. I think I'd like to think about what the best choice is. And maybe, you know, get out and talk to the city and find a stable for.
You know, really everything we have at the park right now, other than the basketball court, is what you.
Oh, I know. And it's centered for kids. That was the reason for it, I think.
Well, disc golf is for all ages.
Right.
Disc golf.
And the walking trail. I know a lot of people use the walking trail all the time. I mean, it is for everybody. I just want to make sure that it's we're doing the best. That's fine.
So how do you want your vote to be recorded?
Yes.
All right. That carries. Thank you, and we'll continue, and you'll come back next month in July. And hopefully between now and July, you can visit with Mr. Garrett, and we'll try to get on this. Can you, on your options, like you got here,
Yes, sir.
break out, you know, instead of having all this there, it's, you know, what, bare bones, all the way to this, you know.
Alternative, yeah, absolutely, that would be,
Alternative.
we just kind of got it to this point, just to like, see, are you interested, do you want to pursue it? And now that we hear, yes, you do want to pursue it, we'll start working with Tracy, and I'll get you a slate of alternates, you know, like from that's your top. Well, here's, if we did a mediocre type court, that's still good service, I'm not saying anything wrong with it. We can show you how to pare it back and how I can make it work, and then you guys can decide, okay, we want to land right here. And that's what we'll make it work for. We'll work with you to get it just like you want it. You know, the main thing we want to do, the only thing that we kind of worry about, is we want to make sure we get you enough money, ask for it to do it. I don't want to get, you know, we did this grant application, and then next year, we would go to bid and we didn't get enough money, and we're in trouble. We can't do it, and then that kind of looks bad. So we'll work with you to make sure that we get you enough money to make sure you can do. I would rather us have a little bit too much and have to send it back, or we have to go, well, let's add something, we'll add an inch or something like that to spend the money, but we'll take care of it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Next, we have a proposal from Metron Party to improve our service, fiscal leader. Monica, would you come and present that to the council?
Yes, and I apologize. I think it was my mess up as to why the sales rep is not here for this. So my apologies, and I will do the best. I will do the best I can to answer questions. So right now we have all but maybe 101 meters have all been replaced and as smart meters. If you remember, we started this project about almost 5 years ago now, about 4.5 years ago. Those initial meters, we have 158 meters right now that are not reading properly. They are the original meters within the first couple of orders of when we first started this. There were some a manufacturing change on that meter when we first started, and so there were a couple of issues. These meters are not reading. We can continue to do what we've done of pull them out of the ground, send it back. They are honoring all of the warranties. Everything is being honored. There's no questions that we can pull them out, send them back. They send us the new register, we put it in, everything's good. It's not the meter itself, it's the register. We're proposing, along with Metron, to actually go ahead and upgrade and purchase 158 registers at half the price of the original or of our cost for that register. So that's at $145 each. That total comes to $22,910. By doing that, we get the full 10 years coverage on that meter, which extends that out further than where we are right now. Metron will provide an experienced field worker for 3 days to come in and fix all of those non-reading meters, put the new ones in, along with the sales rep with one of our persons. That gets us into a fully functioning meter reading situation. What has happened is that we pull those meters out and send them back for return authorization. Well, we touched them twice again, and then they're sitting there, we're waiting for that meter to come back to put it back in. So, because we don't have enough, we don't have them on the shelf to just replace it out. So we are estimating while that meter is out. And that does cost us money. But I think this is a good option, personally. We've talked it through. We've gone through several scenarios with the rep, with when Ken Rawson was here, and then after he left, Todd Brown has taken over Ken's position. Todd actually has been very good at getting some of these meters to start working again on their own by using the technology that he's given in the field. I think one of the problems possibly has been that, we started out with 3G technology, 2G technology, and in this 3.5 years, we've gone to 5G. And you look at your cell phones and how many times you're updating and upgrading, and these are doing the exact same thing. And I think, and these are continuously being bombarded with water and environment and everything else. The ones we have that are working are amazing, what we can do with that. And I think that this is a good option and a good fit for us to quickly get this done, because we don't really have the personnel to be able to do it over a long-term basis on our own. And Metron is offering this at a cost reduction and offering their services to come in at no additional charge. That's covered in this $22,910. That's kind of, I know that's a short explanation. This has been a good product. It's sometimes frustrating when you've got 158 meters that aren't reading. It is extremely frustrating. It's frustrating for Deborah, sending out, doing her meter readings and so forth. A lot of times they're still working in the ground, they're just not registering back to us, so we still have to go out and manually read that meter. So this is an option for us, but it is something that you all would have to vote for and appropriate if we do this.
Well, the way I've been briefed and the way I understand it, which we could not anticipate from the very beginning, is the problem is the 2G that we started with, and now we're up to 4G and 5G, and the equipment just doesn't handle that the proper way. We didn't know that technology was going to go the way it's going as fast as it's going. So to me, that's one of the big keys of what the problem is, and that's where I've been briefed with along with what
That's
Monica
exactly right.
said there. So,
I heard they came out 6Gs coming out next.
You know, that's one thing that bothers me. We don't know what technology's gonna do in the next 5 years.
Right.
We didn't spend all this money, and we'll be in the same situation in 5 years.
That is true, with the caveat that this Innovate 8 meter that's coming out, the ones that we've been replacing recently have gone through several updates in the last year. And they are still working. They're working without a hitch and without any problems. Metron is standing behind this. They have worked with us, in trying to get this straightened out and the issues fixed.
So they're saying it's like these new meters will actually progress up as the Gs go up, as the technology goes up. These, the way I explained,
That's the way I'm understanding them now.
these will accept these higher levels like we're talking about, the technology. I think we were right in on the beginning of some of this technology. And
I thought we had a good guarantee on this over so many years that it would support this.
they do.
And they do.
They do.
We still have 5 years of warranty left on
They're
those
charging us to come out and do
158.
this.
Pardon me?
They're charging us to do this, right?
But we get that warranty extended out even further. So yes, they're charging us to buy all new meters and get them in the ground right now, yes.
So we're gonna be basically on the same thing, basically.
So I'm sorry, say that
We're gonna
again.
be basically the same thing, we're starting all over again with new meters, new situations, new everything.
How many meters do we have now?
We've got 300, and left my file, 600, we agreed to 698, and we have about 500 plus in the ground.
But that original cost, wasn't it like 207,000?
It's right around 300, yes.
So it's not the same thing.
But it's only a third of what we bought before, or a fourth of what we bought.
Plus, they are gonna do the installation for this.
They are.
They're
Now,
gonna
does
do
the whole meter has to be changed? Or just-
No, it's just the registers.
Just the registers?
Just the
That's pretty
registers.
simple.
So what's gonna happen with the 158 that they're gonna take out?
They will now have a full 10-year warranty
No, I
on
mean
them.
the ones they're replacing, the used ones. Can we send them in and get replacements? Because then we have more on, on hand, if, in case they go out.
I don't know the answer to that.
That is a very good.
That's a
question.
very good question, I
That's a very
agree.
good question.
I mean, you could just send them in as you want to. And it wouldn't cause any delay in payment or water it's wrong rates and,
What you're saying is they should go ahead and send us these, and then we keep the old ones
and keep those, and then you send those in for,
as they
to,
go.
no, the 158 are back.
Right.
So you're gonna take those 158, you're gonna send them in with the warranty, the 5-year warranty that we have. And then they're gonna send us new ones in, and then those will be on hand in case these go bad. And then it's double dipping, it sounds like double dipping.
I don't think that's gonna fly. But if there's any correlation to these 158 registers when we take them out, if there's any benefit to us, then we would make sure that we got that benefit out of it.
Did you say that they were reducing the price to half price?
They are,
Okay.
they are.
So that may be one reason we're doing that too.
Right, but I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to get them back. I still think you could maybe wait a year and then send one in at a time.
We'll deactivate them once they come out.
So they're actually not good.
They're not reading,
No, that's what I mean.
yeah.
They're actually no good to recalibrate. So they're actually no good to us.
Well, even when we send them in for return authorization, we get a brand new register back. We don't get that one refurbished.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's no need to keep the old if we cannot use it.
Correct.
But these new ones will be able, they'll be able to accept the updates, whatever the
That's our understanding. I mean, there's always that what if. I understand that.
You know what I mean? We need something. Concrete.
Well, once again, I mean, they stand behind their 10-year warranty, and, I mean, in my opinion, yes,
That we didn't know about.
I do think that they have increased or upgraded their quality assurance, in their manufacturing process. We aren't seeing problems with the new ones that we're getting. But
So this 158 that's out, have they been out for a while? I mean, they're not, you know, still have some going on.
occasionally, but you're gonna always have an occasional one, yes.
We have to go manually out and read these meters now when they go out, right?
If they're still readable, sometimes they're just completely dead.
So we don't know how much water is being used.
You have a general idea, that's correct. They're being estimated at that point.
That's not
Someone out to
fair,
read it.
that you have to answer these questions with
If they
representatives.
knew that here in this town, we would have called, look.
Now, I'm gonna say that some of these 158s are on non-active houses. I mean, it's not that we're estimating 158 meters every month, no.
Well, when they actually read it though, it'll get the right number then. And so they're paying $95 a month now, and if they realize they were only doing 70, when they do get it reinstated, it'll be like $20 because they'll get reimbursed for the overage, right?
And then there are points in time that we can pull those numbers out. It's still keeping that 5-minute reading in there. It's just whether we can get to it or not, and sometimes that they can generate that for us. But then we're having to manually input those numbers in. It's not automatically putting in. I will say also there are, along with this package, we have 200 meters that were bought. This is back when Jason Brewer was still with us, so that's quite a while back. And there was a transition of our original sales rep when he left and the new one came in. There's a transition period in there. 200 meters were bought during that period, and Metron sent us 1-year service meters instead of the 10-year service meters, and Metron is absorbing all of that cost of that. So we got the meters at a lesser cost because they were 1-year meters versus 10-year meters, but they only had 1 year of service on them. So
they've
That's
extended
not our
it to the-
fault.
that's exactly right, and they are honoring that.
Oh,
Now, how are we gonna pay for this? Is it monthly? How are we gonna do this? We gotta pay for these meters out of one time.
We have the funds in water right now to cover this. Once they're shipped and received, we would be obligated to pay them.
How much is in the water?
Should be on the last page of your financial. You have the water improvement sales tax and the water check and those.
Do we have a choice?
1,000.
We can, sure you have a choice. We can scrap all those meters and go back and put different meters in. We can go with a different kind of meter, but then we would have we would have additional charges in putting in software, that sort of thing. There are choices, yes. Is it the best choice? I don't know. I do still stand behind these meters.
And we have
Have we inquired,
several of them that are working well.
Yes, ma'am.
have we inquired other places that have used these meters?
Yes, I have.
What's their situation?
I haven't inquired lately. I really haven't. We're pretty far into this. You know, when we did our due diligence prior to, I had a group down in Florida that had field tested 9,000 meters for 3 years, and they were happy with them. I will say that I think a lot of the cities that are, or areas that are using a lot of these meters, I did speak with one in Massachusetts not long ago. Is that Massachusetts? I can't remember now. Anyway, he loves them. But most of their water meters are in basements or, you know, they're inside. We do have some environmental issues with ours, or on these original meters.
Do they have any suggestions for that? I mean,
They've made improvements. They've made improvements in their registers. And again, up to their quality control, and we don't seem to be having those same issues with the newer
I've
models.
seen the boys going out and have to actually pump out these places in order to get down to these.
A lot of times, I mean, even on our manual read meters, they have to pump them, my personal water meter, they can't pump it out.
I can see that with the old ones, but the new ones, I just, you know, that was maybe we've had 0 situations around here with a foot and a half in the ground.
It can be dry as a bone and they start to pump out my water meter and it still just fills up because there's so many springs in my yard.
We had 0, but I'm just wondering, you know, whether underground that was or not.
We did not have any issues with the cold on these that we're aware of. I mean, nothing broke and they were still.
Okay, are these the same meter that if they replaced it under warranty, if we pull one out and send it back, is this the same meter they would send us?
Yes,
when we did that?
yes. It is, and it's called an Innovate VN. No, and it's Metron's, it's the meter that they're selling for, or the register that they're selling on these meters.
So basically,
It has a different housing than the original ones that we purchased. It's a little bit different housing, but it still fits in that meter.
so basically what would be, except for the time frame, we can get it done within a 3-day period versus if we do it ourselves,
It's gonna take us a long time.
several weeks or maybe months to get all those.
That's exactly right.
So we would wind up with the same type meters.
And you're probably gonna spend that much money in labor, and honestly,
and losing water.
Yeah,
And losing water.
We might lose that much.
Well, I read the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, folks, you've heard a motion's been made that we'll go forward with this, and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Wilma?
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yes.
Sheila?
Yes.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Stacy?
Thank you all very much. Next, I have, I want to mention that I did receive a letter back from the Highway Department on the questions that we asked last month. The Highway Department addressed those and said that they visited all the areas that on 64 and Mary's Lane, I think, went out to put some concrete out there. That on the, there was one on 215 8th Street that He said drop off at the edge of the roadway on the pipe after looking at historical images, looks like the pipe was the right length at one time, but it now looks like the pipe is not as long. Because traffic possibly trailer is damaged, like cutting in the corner. And, he said it's functioning, able to drain. He said the center line stripes on Main Street, the yellow striping is reappearing in conflict with the new location. Don't think that's what it is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. Anyway, I had contacted Keith Moore, and Keith said that since the highway department, since it's our responsibility, Keith said that he could take a grinder and go in and grind that and then off where it wouldn't be visible and then remain. But he's not gotten back with me on a cost yet. But he's looking into that. So we're working on those. I just want you to know we update on that. Then Captain Sumter mentioned about the fireworks activities this weekend. And there's a lot of activities. Let's just go around the room and see if you got anything.
Well, that's a comment on our cemetery. Kept a closer eye. We've got to have something done. That's the worst I've ever seen.
They should be out there working that this week.
They sure was.
They're not working.
They has been weed eated around the stones since we had our separation. We have got drove in. They're not mowing anything beyond just riding the dirt. And sometimes they're mowing this part, this side's going a while. It's been.
I will personally go out there tomorrow, and I will have crew out there working with tomorrow.
Well, I know it's like hard to do that.
Yeah. Kai Fox.
Is that the guy that
Well,
was
far that
last, was he the one who was going there?
Like I said, he does not do the job.
We have a question or suggestion. Do we have a board there, right? Cemetery board, did I miss that?
We appointed a committee, cemetery committee. Monica, we got a cemetery committee.
There is a cemetery committee. Monica has not set up any dates to meet, so. No.
We do have a
I think
cemetery.
we need to have a rule that you can't put stuff anywhere except on the headstone.
That is printed out there on.
Is
Yes, there's
actually.
it's legal, it's right there on the cover.
Okay.
Printed. And
That's it.
between,
It's a big on the side of it.
we're supposed to have it all. I will personally take care of it tomorrow.
I think he did a good job last year. I was out there.
Same guy.
Oh.
I think our boys did last year.
It looked good to us.
You did.
What happened to him?
Really good.
Oh, yeah, but when did we hire this for me up now?
Do you know when Kai started?
I know.
I met him out there and he was working. He said he had a question. Anybody had a question, call him. But it's the same one. He's up.
Our grandstand has been down there since. Did you get those guys?
Go through there this week.
Had more comments on that. Anything I want to talk about, you know, somebody how good is that? You know what I mean?
I did. I apologize for that.
Not a problem. My fault. My fault.
Anything else?
That's what I was going to say.
We have, two people signed up to speak, I'd like to address the council. Harley and Jackson. Let's talk about Kirksey out there. Harley.
I've spoke to several people about this already. I spoke to Jimmy, I talked to Monica. Has anybody been by the Kirksey house lately? Jimmy, Donna, and myself, and several other people, and Phil also, when he lives, had put a lot of work in that house inside. Okay, the top part is rotten. First thing you know, we're gonna have some ceilings in there gonna be messed up. Then what are we gonna do? We're gonna go back in and put new sheetrock back in and redo it? I mean, if you're not gonna keep it, set it on fire and get rid of it. That's what I told you. And you said, I'll call you first thing. But it's right, because I go by there every day. Okay, we've got $10,000 and $10,500 in the pot. 10,000 was donated when Bill passed away. We had 500 in the pot that we didn't have any parties for, so I put that in there. So I know we've got that much money. And I realize the city may have a lot of problems doing a lot of things, but people come by there and see that, and it looks terrible. And I know Ms. Feller got the grant, and I talked to Monica about it. I said, can we take that out of the Historic Society? Do away with it, so we can go in and do something different with it. We need to find out. You know, that pine tree needs to be cut down, let me tell you. Me and 2 other ladies went down there last Sunday. We cleaned all the inside, the doctor's office especially, because did not know the air conditioner was not, on the bottom part was not working good. I called Daryl Paddock. He came, we got it fixed, I paid for it, he said, go on with it. And, but the office had mildew in there, awful, because of the air. And it's not my responsibility to go down there and see about that place. I've had people say, do you own that? No, I don't own it. But they call me, and I told Don and Jimmy also, and I know the one at the city, because I am close enough. You know, I'm just a block away. I'm handy. I can, when they have parties or anything, I don't mind going down, open up, and we hope to start having lunches again pretty soon and kind of add more money to the pot. But there's got to be something done to it. I mean, it didn't need to be power washed, but when you do, look for more paper from all of it. I would like to see some siding put on it. Of course, we can't do that if it's in the Historic Society. But I told Monica, I said, if we could put siding and just put it over those windows, do away with the top windows totally, and not even know that there's one there, that would eliminate the cost, but it still would make it look nice. But we've got to have the money, we've got to be able to do that, and I don't know, did you ever get hold of Monica to find out?
I think there's some issues that we're gonna have to look into, pulling it out.
But we've got to have something done with it. I mean, it's not,
Steve, money for this, from the historic.
They're not gonna let us put
Yeah,
that
we're not
on
gonna
there.
let us laugh about it.
They're not-
no, like I said, it's $10,500 is in the pot, I know that.
Yeah.
It would probably take another, and like I was told, it needs to be taken down to the wood, have a good primer put on it, and paint it, and then come back, okay? In 2 years or so, 3 years, you're gonna have to come back and do the same thing again. The old wood will not hold the paint, I don't care what you put on it. I'm not a big painter, but I do know you have to treat it.
Yeah, when we had that painted before,
That's right.
we power washed it, steel brushed it, got all the leaves, everything we could get off, and we went to the paint store to sue. This is the best primer that she recommended.
Yeah.
Best primer, the best paint, we got the best that she recommended.
Lynn Cernak and I went down 2 years ago and power washed the whole deal.
Yeah, the wood, the old wood.
But,
Hard as rock.
and like I said, where it's coming down to the top, it's beginning to rot, and you can see that big time when you look out there. It's, you know, like I said, that's the worst part, is the top part. The bottom is still, the doors, both sides, back door needs to be, replaced, or done whatever, put on it again, because the weather is, Philip and I put siding on the bottom of them to keep them from rotting, because they was already beginning to, you know, have some. The guys at the cabin shop had done the doors for us several years ago. They've redone the front door, and it's beginning to get some weather on it too. But it's in bad shape, and I'm telling you, it's either gonna rot down, or you can do something with it, one or the other. So that's what I'm here tonight for, just to give my opinion on what's going on. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Kevin K. This time we'll talk about sidewalk.
Sidewalks out in front of our place, down the road, they're all messed up, sunk in the ground, they're all falling to pieces and everything. I came in before, told y'all about this, like 6-7 years ago. They said it wasn't city's responsibility to get everything put in. So I thought, since it's gonna be that way, I ain't complaining, nothing like that, I just go and do it myself, and fix it in a different way. Take the concrete off the water line and the sewer line, and then just take dirt and cover it, and bury it all in, see that it make it look like the rest of the yard. I went to medicine with it the other day, and they called the police over. I was supposed to be out there drunk, getting on the sidewalk. Yeah. But I don't know whose responsibility this sidewalk's supposed to be, and how it's supposed to get taken care of. If I could just get told that y'all want me to do it, if I can do it that way, then I'd go ahead and do it, but I want to get it in writing. Or I can just leave all on. I'd just be completely up to y'all.
Where do you think?
On the 73rd, right behind the library, on the corner. That's $200 for a load of dirt, I can get that dropped off. I crushed the cylinder in my backyard, just trying to get the yard all cleaned up. Lay my truck off, I'm gonna put it in place. But I just want to get the yard cleaned up on done, get it all set up and ready. I just wanted to ask y'all how you guys want that done.
I think probably like that we need to do, Monica, just put a note there, research the ordinance, see what the ordinances are that covers that. And I'll have that research on the ordinance.
That's it.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, there's one at the bottom of the list also.
Oh, okay. Sarah's yours, signed up to speak on the property.
Yes, sir. And
I'm sorry, I didn't see that down there.
that's okay.
Would you mind coming up?
Sure. Thank you for recognizing me, but I actually no longer need to speak today. So, I thank you for listening anyway. Okay? All right. Thanks.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
In a second. All in favor, stand up.
Get out of here.
I got good saying.
How you doing?
Tomorrow morning, you can go out there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. She was in the
Yeah, obviously, right, yeah.
You over there getting up that line.
I know.
I probably would come out lunchtime, that way I can.
Oh, okay, things are out.
You know, you got a good excuse to go back, you ain't might as well come Nothing. That's first. I guess it's like on the street.
There. How are you doing? How are you? Good.
Great, how are you?
Good. I'm on 30 from home.
Oh, music.
I'm
Okay, you need that. Yes, you do. Yes, I
Everybody got the right. No, Lord.
Such a mess.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it, but, yes, well. If it been different world right now.
Yeah. Way different.
Well,
How's your mom and daddy?
they're good, they're good. They're mean. She knows. Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah, there's the.
I know she's wrong, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I know, dress like that. You don't drive around now.
That's good. She don't get out of there. She don't make you sit around all
No.
day. She go downhill and hurt you.
She ain't never sat around.
No, Lord, no.
She always did the turkey and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure enough. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I'm glad she's out and about.
You and me both.
That's a real good thing.
Oh, yes.
Next time you gotta let her talk.
And I tell you, I practiced all day
Well, I said, now, honey, we just allowed 5 minutes. And she said, there ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
That's where you take that this stuff.
Yeah. Whatever keeps me out of trouble.
That's
That's what I had to do to get there.
Oh, man, how's my neighbor?
Hey, hang on.